welcome back to another episode of Up for Debate, ladies and gentlemen. This is the show where three generations of family go head to head on a series of topics. We got, what am I, Gen Zer, right? Gen Zer, myself, Noe B, Millennial, and one BBB, baby boomer from Brooklyn. Yeah, gang is back.
Hey, buddies.
What is episode?
We out here. We just out here in these streets. We just out here in these debate streets, you know, doing what we do. So apparently, B Simone thought it prudent that she do a podcast interview commentary where she literally disparaged the great MLK. And also said that she was then triggered because of the fact that MLK might have, did all this stuff for justice, for the advancement of colored people, was a good father, but he cheated on his wife. So she got a little bit of backlash. I, for one, think that you should be able to give your opinion, however. Coretta Scott never came out and said that he was a cheater. Coretta, she died with him being the same MLK that he's always been in our eyes, and she never once disparaged him. So, the debate for tonight is, can you be great and an infidel? Or does one cancel out the other?
I mean, I feel like those two things are very exclusive, or they are two things that are independent of each other. Like, as for what he did for the culture during contextually what he did for the culture during that time, and what I'm saying, the impact that he had as a person, I don't think his relationship with his wife has any bearing on those things. And unfortunately, we are in a generation where people use words like triggered for things that,
for everything.
Yeah, it's disgusting, to be honest, to say the least.
Niggas is triggered for everything. Why? How, Sway?
Every culture.
Did you say what it was that she was triggered by? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, she did. She was just like, because the guy can be a boss. They're a great father. They're look at him, he's a good man, but you cheat on your wife. And she was just like, how is he a good man? He's not a good man. He's unfaithful to his wife. And I'm paraphrasing. So how is he a good man? That's triggering for me. So can you be great and have a wandering eye at the same time?
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, you would want all things to be in one accord, but is it possible? Yeah. What she's saying doesn't really make sense. I understand as a whole where she's going. I disagree with it, but yeah, can you be great and make mistakes? Yeah, you can.
I mean, for me, it goes back to what I say when we talk about pastors. I mean, Martin Luther King was the reverend. He was the right
not to go in that direction.
he was the right reverend. He studied theology. He went to Morehouse. He was that dude. You know what I mean? He was about nonviolence. He was about the people, and he was about his father's business. And when you have people, it's a bigger conversation, because B Simone being triggered by the fact that he was unfaithful and yet he was praised in all these other areas, that means that she is perfect, that she has no issues or no faults within her. But because of the fact that infidelity is one of those things that we don't even know if it's a fact, because apparently people were supposed to be coming out dropping tapes about stuff that they had on him to sully his legacy, which, like, at this point, give it up and turn it loose. Sit down. But you're saying that someone that cannot have faults, and you're saying that you're perfect, that there is no fault in you as well. Because if him being praised as, because they literally said he was a freedom fighter, so he's fighting for freedom, and it's almost, and I'm not giving nobody a pass for cheating on their wife. I'm not, but it was almost like in Queens of Comedy when Monique said about President Clinton, you got the hardest job in the world. You need to get your, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that was what Brother Martin was doing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
but
insane comparison.
yeah, but all I'm saying is that you cannot have these rose-colored glasses on about life, and that this is what it is with Gen Zers. I'm sorry, Chris, but you have a rose-colored view of life because you grew up in a time when everything was filtered and perfected. So you never really got to see the raw realness of things because everything has a filter. Everything is watered down and beautified before it's presented. As opposed to us, we grew up in a time we scrapping and surviving. You know what I'm saying? We know about the James and Florida Evans and Rerun and Raj and Dwayne and what's happening. We saw the come up. Nobody came out fully perfect back then. We saw the come up for all of the artists that we, you know, applauded and we praised. We saw the come up for TV shows and for, you know, just everything creatively. So when you hear people say that they're triggered because someone has a flaw and someone has made mistakes, now you don't know if Martin was repentant in his mistakes. Or maybe that was the thorn that was in his side that he could not overcome. So does that mean that everything else that he's accomplished is now negated? That triggers you because he's accomplished everything else in his life? He for a Black man to be on that level, taking meetings with presidents and dignitaries in the 60s? And that triggers you? He done got hosed, he done got whipped, he done got arrested, he done got shot in the head, and that triggers you? Make it make sense.
Oh, you can't. That's why, when I watched, I was just like, man, I ain't really entertaining this.
Actually, you can make it make sense. Mainly because
you speaking up for the Gen Zs.
I don't know if I necessarily call it Gen Z protection or Gen Z support. You know what I'm saying? I'll die on that hill, but it makes sense in terms of the behavior, mainly because of, I mean, well, 2 points, right? It's mainly because of the era that we're in, not just as generationally speaking in terms of Gen Zers, but collectively as people. We're in an era of the world getting super small due to technology and social media, right? And due to these things, it's created a culture in and of itself. Like the culture on social media has developed over time, you know what I'm saying, in terms of cancel culture and this new fad of trying to taint or posthumously taint people's legacies. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to find dirt on people that have already passed to basically attack their legacies. We've seen that with Michael Jackson. We've seen that, you know what I'm saying, with now we're talking about now. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's insane. So me saying that is not necessarily in support of Gen Zers, but we have access to so much that, you know what I'm saying, we tend to irrationally do things when it comes to interacting with other people. You know what I'm saying, in terms of the whole cyberbullying thing and kind of going after people when if you did the same thing, you would hate it if somebody did that to you. You know what I'm saying? If a celebrity makes a mistake or falls and it's all over the internet, they're ripping them apart. Or somebody does this minor thing, Kevin Hart with his wife, ripping him apart. The culture of it is just that of, or derivative of technology, really.
It baffles me, and it scares me that this is the path that we're going down. And because we send each other videos and memes and posts all the time. And, the Gen Zers are, pro, because, we don't take the same stuff that y'all took back then. We go into counseling and we're doing this, and we're setting our standards and setting our boundaries. And this is the stuff that we do, and we know what our limits are. Yeah. And you know what? Bravo for that. But think about the bigger picture, because all you're doing is thinking about how you feel and what you think and what you do, right? And at the end of the day, and I'm not trying to make it a spiritual thing, and I'm not trying to quote scriptures, but the scripture does say to esteem your neighbor higher than yourself, right? And if this man marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, and these niggas got horses and whips and dogs on them, and that's just one of the marches. How many protests has Martin Luther King done? Frontline protests. And the thing that you're going to focus on is that he may or may have not been faithful to his wife.
See, but that's the thing. She's a comedian, right?
No, but she was that serious on that one.
Yeah, no, but I get that. But I'm saying she's a comedian, right? In this era of...
Is she?
Yeah.
Like, she does stand-up, or she's like an Instagram comedian?
Yeah, so I'm saying an Instagram comedian. You know what I'm saying? Like, they came up in that era of social media. And the culture of social media is that of a fantasy. You know what I'm saying? People focus on the most obscene things. So for you to, emphasize the impact of Martin Luther King, they don't really conceptualize that when they're making these statements. You know what I'm saying? Because of the era that we're in right now. It's all very vain and surface stuff. When news comes out about a celebrity, it's usually about infidelity, drugs, somebody died. That's literally the three pillars of what runs social media culture right now.
But that's
so it makes sense in terms of the behavior aspect of it, because she came up in that era of social media. Everything revolves around that. People get their news from social media.
Yeah,
think about that in and of itself.
It's different in this regard. And for me, it's like when she talks about it being triggering. It's like, it's like
when I was just like,
when you say it's triggering, it's like, what do you mean it's triggering? But this was like 50 years ago, something that we've been learning about our entire lives. And because of that small detail, that's not actually a fact. That's the triggering part. Like, now you're triggered. This isn't new information. This isn't, something that's current. Like, oh, this is Drake who's out here doing this. And then you find out it's like, this isn't.
But everything that's what I'm saying. Everything else wasn't triggering. Like the fight for freedom wasn't triggering. You understand what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense.
But it's also
apples
she's one of those
oranges.
But she's also one of those. I'm assuming she's one of those. I've seen her on like Wild 'N Out. I don't know her well enough, but from what I've seen, she seems to be.
Yeah, that's all I've ever seen her on.
One of those new Gen Zers that's kind of like, the pro woman, but it's not really pro woman. It's more like anti man to some degree.
Oh yeah.
So. But I think they just mix the two issues up. So it's kind of like, what are you really going to do? Because when she said, I was cool listening to her say, oh, I don't like this, or that he cheated. So, it makes me feel a certain way. That's perfectly fine. It was just when it got to the triggering part, I was just like, all right, it would be different if you were talking about facts. We weren't speaking on facts. You were basically talking about what you heard, or some rumors that to this point, I mean, who's ever found it? Yeah, like who's heard this or made an actual factual statement about it with evidence? Nobody. So it's like, why are you even bringing that up? And then it's also that concept of like, okay, you're a black woman talking about, you know, one of the greatest black men to, you know, be,
to ever do it.
yeah. And so it's like, you have millions of followers, you're on TV, you're doing all this other stuff. So when you call it into question, now it gives the people like, not saying that they will, but it gives those people who, you know, the critical race theory folks like, see, he wasn't all that great and all this other stuff. That's why we should just pull it from the school. So I think one of the things with Gen Zers is it's almost like sometimes you think you're thinking further ahead and you think you're doing something, but it's just like, yo, in certain areas, yeah, it's great to be different. It's great to, I'm not going to take this and I'm not going to take that. But you also have to be careful because sometimes you think you're doing something, you think you're doing more than you are. And it's just like, yo, you doing too much. It's like, just slow down. Everything doesn't require change. Some things do. And, you know, some things are fine as is. Everybody who came before you isn't bad the way they, you know, tend to make it seem. So, you know, I think there's a little bit of that.
This just feels like a whole bunch of Gen Z slander, to be honest. It's not some of the Gen
this is not Gen Z slander. Listen, Auntie Kaya is here to give you a big old hug and say, I am not trying to slander you. What I want for you, young man, young lady, is for you to think about it differently. I'm not saying that the way that you think about it is wrong, but to approach it differently because I'm a wife. Would I want to know that my husband is cheating on me? Hell no. Would that be triggering for me? Hell yes. However, if my husband was out here fighting for the rights of everyday Joe Schmoes, traveling all over the nation and all over the world to effect change, and he might have slipped up once or twice or 3 times, a lady, I may be a little more forgiving. Now, don't think he ain't gonna get it, but I may be a little more forgiving because
so what you're saying is the more of an impact that I have on society, the more cheating becomes tolerable. Is that what you're telling me?
I am likening.
First of all, why are you even entertaining that? Nobody believes what she's saying right now.
Are you saying?
What do you mean?
Oh, please. Nobody buying that. No, if you're out here affecting change, I might give you a pass. Oh, nigga, please. Ain't nobody getting no passes.
That's what it
folks is. You niggas is out here getting cut.
Listen. Nobody knows what they will do or what they will accept or deal with until the situation arises. Period.
So if I'm doing like Mahatma Gandhi like gestures,
she got like 5 slip-ups. You know what I'm saying?
I get at least 5 strikes. Is that what you're telling me?
No. If I'm on the front
lines, political, out there, all that, or picket signs.
If he get that anti-lynching bill passed, then you know what I'm saying, you got like a hall pass for the next 3 years.
Y'all are annoying.
I'm just saying. That's what it sounded like.
Y'all are annoying. All I'm saying is think about the bigger picture sometimes. And I'm not saying this to be like, oh, women should just take things and you should just take it to the chin because of the fact that the situation is, you know, bigger than you. But when you can't have, and this is in no way disrespecting her, but you cannot have the J-Lo relationship track record when it comes to how you deal with life. Meaning, Martin and Coretta were married, they had their children, and she stayed married to him.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we don't know what she went through. Well, we know she went through a whole lot because she had to deal with death threats and all this other stuff. They were dealing with a whole different beast, right? But you can't really affect effectively promote certain things in your life when you're hopping from do to do to do to do to do. You understand what I'm saying? Same thing with the man. When you're hopping from chick to chick, it's just like I can't even take you seriously because you can't even commit to a person.
I think
You
the whole
understand what I'm
thing
saying?
is just, I don't know. The whole interview to me was just like, it just felt like, what are we talking about? Like this dude, what year did he get shot? 68? Was it?
1968.
So he died in 68. And for however many years it was before that, all that was accomplished and all that stuff. And then in 2022, you in here talking about he was cheating on his wife, which hasn't even been proven. So in my eyes, it's like, why are you even denigrating his name in that way? Why are you even bringing that up? Like, what are we talking? Like, what are we talking about? It serves no purpose other than you. To me, you just sound slightly ignorant. That's just how I feel about it. Like, I just, when I was like, man, I don't feel like entertaining this. It's just, you're doing too much, man. You're doing too much. And then you talking about you triggered. By what? By
That
what?
was the part that I was just like, come on, son.
It's so triggering. And it's just like, are you about to go into one of these anti-man soliloquies now? Is that where we're going with this? You're triggered? From what? From what? Oh, you niggas ain't. Oh, beat it. Next.
There you have it. There you have it.
Well. Let us know what you think about B Simone's comments in our comments. And are you a Gen Zer that
Can we not do that?
is triggered? No, I want to know who's in the comments. Are you a Gen Zer that's triggered, or are you a Gen Zer that is
woke?
I don't even like.
I'm just using popular words. So.
That word anymore. But yeah, let us know in the comments.
Word.
Yo, this chick said she was triggered. I can't believe it.
You seem triggered by her being triggered.
Because I feel like it's stupid. Genuinely. Like, I'm trying to be nice about it, but I feel like it's stupid and it's mad dramatic. You're triggered because and this is my thing. I'm not one of the people, like, if you haven't proven it factually and you're saying it on a public platform, then to me, you're just perpetuating gossip.
It's all speculation.
Exactly. And to me, it's just like, why are you up there doing that? Like, this man been in his grave since 68. And you talking about that now, you bringing it up. And I feel like when you bring it up now, in a time when people are trying to get rid of pretty much all of Black history in schools and all this other stuff, you're giving them reason, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're creating reason for them to consider that. It's just, I feel like it's irresponsible.
I concur.
Now, if she had maybe a fact or two behind it, like a proven source or something.
But even if it was proven, if there was proof, if there was video footage or audio of something that actually went down, how does that negate every blow, every hit, every arrest, every march, every speech that he's done?
Like, oh,
because of a personal flaw?
Like, he made it, like, now she tripping, or she got me tripping. Like, if you make a mistake, you can recover, you can get better, you can correct it, you can apologize, you can do whatever it is to, quell the flaw or quell the issues, you know what I'm saying, and just lay them at the side and deal with it and do whatever, and you can come back and be stronger, and whatever the case may be.
Message.
At this point, he can't do that.
Yeah.
So why are you bringing it up? That doesn't mean his life was purposeless all of a sudden because he made a mistake once or twice.
And out of all of the right-wing pundits and whomever on this planet, the only Black person that they praise is Martin Luther King.
True say.
Everybody else, Malcolm was a terrorist, a devil, according to them.
There was an episode about that in Everybody Hates Chris.
What, that everybody?
It was just Martin Luther King.
Yeah, he's the only person in history.
Yeah.
It was slavery, and then it was Martin.
Martin Luther King. Yeah.
That's all we have.
It was slavery, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King. In that order.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for scenes from the next episode of Up for Debate.
It's you will learn about World War I, you learn about Russia and Joseph Stalin and Austria-Hungary and Poland and all this and Hitler and all this other stuff, and how America swooped in to save the day in Pearl Harbor and all this other stuff. And America was out there, we was out there fighting, and we won, and we defeated the Nazis and all this other stuff, right? They'll run that till the cows come home every year. Niggas won't tell you nothing about slavery, won't tell you what really happened with Christopher Columbus, won't tell you the realities of anything, but you'll be out here, well, we helped the Holocaust survivors and we did this and we did that. So as long as it's history that makes you look good, you're cool with it.